by providing that knowledge up front and allowing people full access to the knowledge of the process and how it all works, then it becomes their decision to decide, well, what is it that I'm going to do this week? Am I going to become an expert self-publisher and just stick with Michael's book and follow it top to tail and go the whole way through, versus the book has given me a great introduction to what Michael and his business are all about. I've now got a good feel for what the public publishing process is going to be like. So now what I'll probably do is I'll dedicate smaller amounts of my time, because my time is probably going to be better off spent engaged in my business that I do well, and work alongside someone who does their business rather well. It's just a better use of your time. I mean, what are you giving up by learning a brand new skill?
Yeah, you've summed it up perfectly. I do know authors who have managed the whole process themselves and produced really good books. I do know authors who've managed the whole process themselves, and it's been an utter disaster.
Oh no!
An utter disaster. It's a very big, complicated process. And if you did work through my book and you did your homework on the internet and got lots of useful info, you can do it, and you can do it well.
Sure.
But if you kind of jump into it without the proper education, the things start to go wrong. You don't realize that you needed your editor talking to your designer, and you need your designer talking to your printer, and all this kind of stuff that
Absolutely.
if you've never done it before and you haven't done your homework properly, you don't realize until you're halfway in and it's all gone completely pear-shaped that you've just completely messed it up. We do probably 3 or 4 what we call rescue packages a year.
So this is an author who finds themselves in this position where it all looked as clear as a bell and easy as pie, and Michael's book made it look far too easy.
No, it's not usually people who've read my book. It's not usually people who've read my book. It's usually people who have done a little bit of homework on the internet, and they've
just got enough knowledge to get into trouble.
Right. That's exactly right.
Okay.
So they haven't, Owen, you and I were talking before about planning, Dave. Planning is so important.
Absolutely.
So where people run into trouble is they say, okay, editing's the first step. I'll hire an editor. And that's all they do. They look into editing, they hire an editor. And then they go, design's the second step. I'll find a designer. And they don't realize that there's things the editor should know that the designer is going to do before you even start editing.
Right.
So that they get to the design stage and the designer says, okay, so have you done this and this and this? And they say, no, I didn't know I had to do that. So they have to go back to the editor and say, now you need to do this and this and this so that the designer can do this and this and this.
Right.
And then the same thing happens with the printing. You go to they get to the end, they go, okay, the last thing I do is print my book. So I'll talk to the printer at the end of the process.
Yeah.
They get to the end of the process and the printer says, did your designer do this and this and this? And they say, no, my designer didn't do that and that and that. So you've got to go back to your designer and tell your designer to do this and this and this.
And this is all rework, and it's all paid by the hour. And obviously delaying your book release date.
Costing you more
by
money,
months and months and months.
Driving everybody crazy.
Yeah.
It can increase your time frame significantly because you've then got to fit back into the workflow with your editor, your designer, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.